dedicated to helping women reach their full potential. You can catch today's guest giving advice on the radio, on TV, or even better, by booking a session with her.
My name is Lisa Brookman. I'm a psychotherapist and the co-founder of Wise Women Canada. I'm passionate about my family, home design, and helping women feel their best.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Thank you for being on the couch today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I feel like this has been a long time in the making.
We've been connected for a couple years, and finally we get the opportunity to meet.
Yes, finally.
And I get to sit on your couch.
Yes, on this couch. I think you were meant to be here because when you first contacted me at the time, the timing wasn't right. And then this year we've been filming a lot in French, right? So it's, but I've been watching your evolution, and it's been really amazing.
Thank you.
Wise Women Montreal now is Wise Women Canada.
Yes, we have evolved into Wise Women Canada, which has been wonderful for us. We were really seeing that people were reaching out to us from all over the country, and we said, you know what, we want to be inclusive, so we swapped to Wise Women Canada. Still, most of our followers are from Montreal, but we do have a nice following from around nationally, which has been wonderful as well.
Wow, amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about what is Wise Women Canada?
So Wise Women Canada started as an information source for Montreal women. I'm a psychotherapist, and in my part of the practice, I was doing therapy with my clients, and I was finding that at a certain point, they'd be 90% through their journey, and they would say to me, you know what, I feel amazing, but I don't have a hairdresser, or I feel amazing and I don't have a trainer. So at the end of the session, I would pick up my phone and I would say, okay, let me refer you here and let me refer you there.
Okay.
So Wise Women Montreal started as a referral source. I work with my best friend, Elizabeth Wiener, and we do this blog together, and our premise was to offer Montreal women all kinds of resources.
Okay.
But about 6 months in, we saw that there was a shift in our readership. The blogs that were doing the best were the blogs that were talking about real life stories.
Okay.
People weren't interested in the resources. They wanted to connect with other women. So we made that shift. We changed our tagline to everybody has a story. And now we're just a platform for women all across Canada to come, share their story, and to be inspired by other women's story. And it's really been a remarkable journey.
Right. And as I've told you a few times off the air, I resonated a lot with your bio and what I read about you. And that's one of the things, which is a bit the premise of the show as well. Every woman has a story, and by sharing our stories, we empower, we encourage, we inspire other women as well. So,
and that means so much for me because I'm a big fan. So the fact that you identify with me as well, it's amazing.
Definitely, and you've done so much. I mean, just from starting the center, right, which I definitely want to get to, and to Wise Women, now you're on the radio, you're on breakfast television, you're doing so many things.
Yes, you know what, it's so important for me to get my message across. And whatever means I can do it, whether it's being on breakfast television. We now have our Wise Women Canada radio show, which is Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. And that has been a huge platform for us because we expanded our listenership by tenfold, or probably even more than that.
With CJD, right?
We're on CJD.
So we're part of the same Bell family.
I know, exciting. This is new for us. We just started the show 3 weeks ago, and we love it. It's been a wonderful experience for us.
Right. And Bell has been really great in, you know, finding local content and helping people get their voice out there.
Absolutely.
And you're doing so many great things to inspire women.
And they're also very supportive of women on radio, which I love. There's so many wonderful women who are on the radio right now at CJD, and we're so lucky to be part of that team of women as well.
Right. So what about the center? Are you still working at the center at the same time?
That's my day job.
Okay.
So the center started, it's called West Island Therapy Center. I work together with my husband.
Okay.
He's a child psychologist. And again, we were both doing our own thing. We both worked in the community. And especially for myself, I felt that I was very limited on how much I can do with my clients. There was always parameters or budget constraints. So I decided very early in my practice I graduated with my master's in 2006.
Okay.
And worked in the community for a couple of years. But soon after I had my first child, I said, you know what? It's the time to branch out and do private practice.
Right.
So I grabbed my husband and I said, why not do it with my husband and keep it a family business?
Okay.
And we've grown it. And again, my main objective there is the same across the board, to work with my clients, to empower them, to help them reach their fullest potential. And it's a wonderful journey, and I love what I do.
Right. And can anyone go to this center? Is it
Absolutely.
couples therapy,
Yes,
children, everything?
Everything. So we do 0 to end of life.
Okay.
My husband really focuses on the 0 to 18-year-olds.
Okay.
I focus on 18 plus. I do individual, couple, family therapy. I have a lot of clients who struggle with anxiety, depression, postpartum depression, fertility issues. So that's really, I have a big focus on female-related issues.
Okay.
And we also have a nice team of people who work with us. So it's wonderful. We've been able to bring on board specialists that specialize in certain areas that, for instance, my husband and I don't specialize in.
Right.
So really anyone who comes to our center can be serviced.
Okay. Have you noticed any trends in terms of, clients are coming more for particular issues than others? Like, for example, you mentioned postpartum depression. There was a time where we didn't even know that that's what it was called, right?
I know.
So that's been a shift.
And I've seen that shift, definitely. I find that clients are much more open,
Okay.
Especially clients who are struggling are really trying to push the barrier and not feel so that the issue is so taboo.
Okay, good.
I really encourage when clients come in, if we can bring family members into a session to sensitize their family to what they're going through. But definitely the anxiety, depression, postpartum depression, still a bit difficult
Okay.
with clients always, owning the diagnosis.
Okay.
But I'm working on it because I'm all about breaking the stigma. So,
Is the stigma more present for men or women, or it's pretty much the same?
I see it really across the board. I find that in my practice that women are a little bit more open to owning their diagnosis and seeking help. Men are a little bit more reserved. They're very solution focused. So they come into a session and they really want, what can you do to fix me? How do I get past this?
Right.
Whereas we know that therapy is a journey and
Takes
it's an
time.
evolution. So I would say sometimes women are a little bit more open to, making it a little bit more long term. So I have to kind of get those men to accept that it might take a few sessions to even start to see any change. But I work closely with them and I'm passionate about it. And I take it very, very to heart. I like to work as a team with my clients. So
Right.
their evolution and their journey is important to me because if they're successful, then it means I'm successful.
Right.
So
And how is it running a business with your husband?
it
That
has
can't be
its
easy.
ups and downs. People say to me often, oh, you're so lucky you get to see each other all day. We don't. We miss each other. It's very rarely that we sit down for 15 minutes and get to have a lunch together.
Okay.
But sometimes we bring work home with us. So there's a lot of shop talk after, over supper or in the evening, just talking about our cases and doing supervision with one another. So it sometimes makes the day a little bit long because after
Okay.
a full day of clients, and then you work with your husband, so you're talking about things in the office and
Right.
having to buy more toilet paper and refilling the candy bowl, like all these little things, it makes the day a little bit long. But we really try to balance, and it's nice because we have the utmost trust in each other,
Right.
which really makes the business run well.
Good. Any tips for people thinking of going into business with their significant others? Because I've seen it work for some and really not work for others.
Keeping the lines of communication open is so important.
Okay.
I've seen that's been a really strong piece from my husband and I. We talk about everything. And also to break down the roles so that you know what you're responsible for and your partner knows what they're responsible for, so you don't step on each other's toes. Having
Okay.
kind of that differentiation makes all the difference.
Right. Well, it must help that both of you guys are in the psychology industry, so one can assume you should know how to communicate.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you should hear my kids and us and all of us talk around the dinner table. If people were listening, they would laugh. The communication is so heightened that we
Really?
we talk about everything, and sometimes things that maybe we shouldn't be talking about, and my kids laugh and they use our psycho jargon with each other, and when they're
That's
speaking
hilarious.
to us,
I would love to hear that conversation.
it's fascinating. I love it. Sometimes at the end of the evening after we've had one and my husband and I are reflecting, we say, my goodness, like these kids, communication-wise, they're going to be ahead of their game because
Wow.
we really pride ourselves on talking a lot.
Okay. What about arguing? In terms of arguing with your husband,
Yes.
how does two psychologists argue with each other?
In a very calculated, organized way. We argue like all other couples. Sometimes people will say, oh, I bet you must have the perfect marriage, because
Right.
we don't. We have
Okay.
ups and downs like everybody else. I think we are ahead of the game because of that. We have these skills on communication and interpersonal relationships and active listening. So not like thinking before we speak and listening to each other, but still we sometimes say the wrong things to each
Right.
other, and I'm not a big sorry person, so he knows that when he makes a mistake, he has to come back to me and apologize. And I'm not the big apology. I'm kind of more, okay, I'm right, accept it. But it works. He accepts that
it
part
works.
of me.
Okay, good. That's interesting. Because, yes, I would have assumed that you guys rarely argue or anything.
Listen, it's one of our strengths.
Okay.
We try really, again, to talk as much as we can, to be open about the way we're feeling and express how we're feeling before it escalates to an argument. But again, it happens and we own it. And I think arguing is good because it allows you to learn more about your partner, and it also allows you to learn not to have the same mistake done again.
Right.
So when you have a healthy argument and then you have a resolution, normally it's enough to say, okay, well, I'm not going to repeat that
Right.
same pattern again.
And we can move on.
And we can move on. Exactly. Exactly.
So on your show, do you get mostly personal questions like this, or is it more business oriented? Because a lot of the women do come to you in terms of career and what they should do next as well, right?
In my private practice, I would say again.
No, I mean on the show, sorry.
On the CJD show.
Yes.
You know what? I've seen a bit of a trend of people coming for advice.
Okay.
What do I do when I'm having this issue, or even work related? Some people are more about statements and comments about what we're talking about, but I find it's a little bit more of people seeking some support and advice.
Okay.
And it's nice because when we're new at this and the screen lights up and there's like 3, 4, 5, 6 texts that come in at the same time, it's
That's
so
exciting.
exhilarating. It's wonderful.
Right, because that makes the show, right? What if no one was calling in?
Then-
Crickets.
Yes, we'd be sitting there. But you know what? My partner and we have a great chemistry.
Okay.
And as our husbands say, we can stay on the phone for hours with each other. So we haven't had that lull yet. When it's a little bit slower, we just keep talking as if we're talking on the phone in the evening. So it works out well. But the guest calling definitely make the show a bit more exciting.
Okay.
And it keeps us on our toes.
Actually, speaking of your partner, how did that come about for you guys to pair up to start the blog?
So Liz has been my best friend for many years. We know each other since we're kids. I grew up with her husband. There's been times over the last 25 years where we haven't been in contact, but we've pretty much been best friends for most of our life. I had the idea for the blog, and I desperately wanted to do it with somebody. And I called her and I begged her, and at first she was very resistant. She said, it's not my thing, and I don't see your vision. And I said, just trust me, come on board with me, and I'll show you what it looks like.
Right.
And she's amazing. She's easygoing like that. So she jumped on board, and we've been working together ever since wonderfully.
Wow.
And we complement each other. What she's wonderful at might not be my strength, and what I'm very strong at might be something she's not great at. So the two of us, it's like another marriage.
Right. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say.
Yes. It's like I'm married to my husband in
Right.
one business, and I'm married to my best friend in another business.
But the two businesses are really interlinked, right?
Absolutely. I mean, again, my message is about empowering women and men. Doing that in my private practice one-on-one, and then now having this blog to be able to reach thousands of people, or the radio to reach tens of thousands of people. It's the same motto all across. Like I want people to feel good about who they are. To feel good about what they're doing, and if they don't, that for them to know that there's tools out there that they can use
Right.
to help themselves feel better.
Oh. And are you going to continue all of these things at the same time? I mean,
I'm
you're
looking for new projects.
with the kids and,
You know what?
it's a lot.
I was telling you before we started, 40 has been a wonderful shift in my mindset. Life was easier before 40. I had my kids, I had my small private practice, always, a very type A personality. But when I hit 40, that was a time for me to say, you know what? I want more. I want to make change on a bigger level. I want to make change for myself. I want to grow. And I'm turning 45 next week. And the last 5 years have been...
Happy birthday.
Thank you. The last 5 years have been phenomenal, just in showing myself how much I can handle, being really outside my comfort zone.
Right.
If someone would have asked me 5 years ago today if I had confidence to sit on a couch and do an interview with you or to be on the radio, my answer would have been absolutely not.
Really? You seem like such a natural.
You know what? I've been working. It's been my challenge over the last 5 years, but it's, we're always evolving, whether we're 30 or 40 or 60 or 80. There's always room for growth. There's always room to get to know yourself and understand yourself better. And this journey of taking on all these extra responsibilities has really been part of my evolution. It's been amazing.
Right. Is that a common thing in terms of, when people turn 30, when they turn 40, there's a bit of a shift that happens, or we want to reinvent ourselves?
I think so, and I think especially the 40s and the 50s are about that. If you have children, your children are grown up and they don't need you as much, or you're very established in your career, and it's really about a time of kind of saying, you know what does the next stage of my life look like? And bringing new challenges on. And some people are scared to do that because living inside the box and living status quo is easier than living outside the box.
Right.
But the challenges and watching yourself grow and even watching yourself make mistakes and then grow from them, it's so rewarding.
What has been the biggest lesson this year? Actually, in the past 5 years, since starting the blog.
I thought about this because I thought you might ask me something like that. And what I came to was everything I do as being a role model to my children.
Okay.
They're always in the forefront of my mind. And when I make choices or when I challenge myself or when I do something and I don't have the success that I hoped for, I always think about what kind of impact will that have on them. And this past 5 years, my kids have grown, and my oldest is 15, and then I have a 13 and I have an 11-year-old. And they understand what mommy's doing. They understand that mom's busy.
Right.
And they understand when I do well at something and when I don't. And being a role model it's taught me a lot, and that this has been the biggest thing I've learned about myself over the last 5 years, that how important it is to be there and to show your children what strength looks like and what wisdom looks like and what failure looks like. It's been amazing.
And that's just as important, learning how to handle and deal with failure just as much as the wins.
We forget that.
Right.
We think that only having success is what makes us look good in someone's eyes, but having a failure and learning by that failure is just as rewarding. It's really been amazing for me.
Wow. So any advice you'd give to someone who maybe is about to turn 40 this year and she's thinking, okay, now what?
Okay, so I have this motto, and I love the Nike ad, just do it. I believe in that. Create a new bucket list for yourself. The one that you created when you were 20 and you were 30 needs to be updated when you're 40. Find some things on there that are exciting and that inspire you and that make you feel like you're challenging yourself and you're going outside the box. And don't wait. We don't know what life holds. So if there's something that feels good or feels right or feels exciting, just jump in and do it. And even if there's not success, you'll learn something by it.
Right. There's always a lesson to take from it.
I believe that. And again, even if the lesson is not a positive one and it's more of a vulnerable one, that's amazing. You get to benefit from that as well.
Right. I think it was Oprah who says there's no mistakes. It's just life redirecting you.
Absolutely. You know what? I love that quote. And that's how I base my life, And I also believe that, things, you make them happen for yourself. Things are not coincidences. You don't, it's hard work and it's perseverance and it's putting yourself out there and taking risks. That's what makes success happen. If we think, well, some people do, but it's not my motto. I don't believe just waiting for it to happen. I believe making it happen. Okay, high five.
Well, Lisa, congratulations. I
Thank
love
you.
how Wise Women has evolved over the past couple of
Thank
years.
you.
And it's super exciting. I'm following you in the media, and I think it's really
That
amazing.
means
You're
a
doing
lot to
great
me.
work.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
You have
it.
to come on my show now.
Hey, anytime, I'll show
Okay,
up.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Will do. So thank you so much for being with us
you.
today.
Thank you.
And thank you to you guys for watching another episode of Couch Talk. Stay tuned.
Wish to see you, wish to see you, many all the colors. Wish to see you, wish to see you, many all the colors.